Hey, good morning, YouTube. So this is a backpack sprayer, like a garden sprayer. Has a wand and got the sprayer tips on the end. And I picked this up from Harbor Freight a number of years ago, and it's actually quite a useful gadget. It holds about 2.5 gallons of whatever you want to spray, and it's got a battery inside and a pump. And you can hear the pump running there, and it's got a little 12-volt lead acid battery in there. With the unit, it came with one of these, basically your 2-amp class 2 battery charger, and it had a hardwired connector on the end here, and it's got this weird 3-pin, they only use 2 of the pins, but a 3-pin microphone connector, and you put that in there. One of the problems with it is there's nothing on the unit itself. There's no light that lights up to say it's charging. This thing has kind of a charge light, and it just seems to stay on charge all the time, and I had really no way of telling what was going on. And so what I did was I cut the wires and put in a couple of Dean's plugs, and I've got one of my little watt meters here. So there we've got my voltage. So right now it's reading like 12.3. Yeah, the voltage is dropping there. But what I can do now, I don't have to use the supplied battery charger. I can actually hook it up to my solar. And I've got a cable here hooked up to one of my batteries. There we go. Now we're charging. About 0.12 amps, 13.56 volts coming in from the battery bank. So now we can kind of leave this on the charger and see what's going on with this thing. I can monitor it. Anyway, I thought I'd show you my little solar powered garden sprayer, and we'll try to update you if I make any progress on this battery. It'll either recover and hold a charge, it might be okay, and if it keeps dropping after a few months, maybe I will tear this apart and pick up a new battery for it. So I'll show you one or the other in a couple of months here, and we can take a look at it. I've been quite happy with it. It really works well, and it's really convenient if you have to spray a lot of stuff. Because I think I got this when I had a bunch of concrete put in and I sprayed some sealant on there, and this was really handy. You could just fill it with a couple gallons of sealant and then just walk around with the wand like this. Good morning, YouTube. So I thought I'd take this Harbor Freight portable 12-volt garden sprayer apart, see what's inside. So there's just 3 screws into actually brass threaded terminals inside the tank, so the tank just lifts right off, and then you're left with this base unit which has the battery and the pump. Not much else in there. So you've got your battery here, 12-volt lead acid, 6 DZM-10 2HR. It looks like the date code was 2010. I guess that'd probably be November, so the time I bought it maybe it was in 2011. And then this is the pump, 12 volt, 1.8 amps, full load. Pulls the fluid out of the tank, runs it through the pump, and then there's a pressure switch that cuts off if you have the valve on the sprayer closed. Of course the pressure is going to build up, and then when you open the valve, that lets the liquid spray out. The pressure drops and the pump turns on. And yeah, you've got your 12-volt input right here, and that does run directly to the battery. The only other little bit of electronics inside there is this little unit, which is the little buzzer that sounds when the voltage gets low. So other than that, there's no regulator. You've just got your switch. There's the pump right there. You can hear the little buzzer chirping. But that's about all that's inside of one of these. Not much to it, but that's a fairly decent sized battery in there. Yeah, so got her back together. Yeah, the screws go into threaded inserts in the base. That's pretty nice. And so I've got my little Harbor Freight charge controller here. This is the one that has the solar, the battery over here, 3-amp fuse, and then it also has a pulse width modulated fan output and a thermostat. This is their old greenhouse, solar greenhouse cooling fan kit, but I've got it plugged into two 15-watt amorphous panels, and it's running. But anyway, yeah, there I've got my garden sprayer on this charger. Figure this way I can just leave it on charging cycle and it'll just sit on float charge for some time. And this charger does seem to work. I mean, it regulates up to about 13.8. It'll go a little higher than that when you first plug it in, and then it'll cycle on to float voltage about 13.8 roughly. But anyway, I will let this trickle charge for some time, and right now it's charging off the sun. It's not even sunny today. Yeah, and there's the two solar panels. They're a little bit dirty. They were sitting up on the roof, so they got some raindrops, but figure the rain today will wash them all clean. And yeah, we'll let these panels charge that sprayer battery, and if it recovers, great. If it doesn't, it's not that much money to buy a new one of those batteries, little UPS battery. Drop it in there and it's ready to go. So anyway, that's a look inside one of these Harbor Freight sprayers.